So hello everybody, I am Sarah West. I'm Director of the Stockholm Environment Institute at the University of York. I'm hosting today because Paul is not here, but I'm absolutely delighted to be hosting today because it's a subject that is close to my heart. So we have Leo McKittrick, and he's going to talk about citizen science, a perspective from EPA Ireland. So Leo is a scientific officer with the Radon Citizen Science and Electromagnetic Fields Unit of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA Ireland. Leo leads the EPA Citizen Science programme, which focuses on developing public participation programmes to increase awareness of environmental issues and supporting public engagement in environmental protection. Leo represents EPA Ireland on the EU Interest Group on Citizen Science and has an instrumental analysis MSc from Dublin City University and has over 20 years experience in both the field of radiation protection and citizen science. So we are really excited to have you with us here today. Thank you for coming to talk to us. Just a reminder to participants who've just joined is we're recording today's session, so please keep your camera off if you don't want to be seen, and make sure that you're muted as well, please. So yeah, take it away whenever you like, Leo. If you'd like to put questions in the chat screen, Leo can pick them up later, and we'll have lots of time for questions at the end. So looking forward to it. Thanks very much.
Hi everybody, and thanks Sarah. Thanks for that introduction. Wow. And thanks everybody for the opportunity to talk to you today. Really looking forward to sharing with you my presentation and the work that EPA Ireland's been doing over the last few years in the area of citizen science. Just before I get into the PowerPoint presentation, just give you a bit of background. So yeah, as Sarah says, of 20 years experience working in both radiation protection and citizen science, and particularly in the citizen science area since 2017. So in EPA Ireland, obviously we've been involved in work with the public and outreach programs for many years, but the citizen science area really kind of came together full on in 2017 with our last strategic plan. And we have a small team in the citizen science team here in the EPA Ireland. But we work closely with other colleagues across the agency, examples like in the air team, water team, and also radiation protection, but also other colleagues in ICT and communications, because they're very important when we're rolling out with citizen science programs. So yeah, in 2017, as Sarah said, we delivered a rolling program in citizen science programs in partnership with national and international partners, with the key objective to increase awareness of environmental issues and support engagement of the public and others in environmental protection. So with that in mind, I'm going to take you through a few slides for about probably 10-15 minutes. I'll give you a bit of background about citizen science in the EPA, then also give you a few examples of citizen science projects that we've been doing over the last few years. And then obviously, with the interest here today in particular in air pollution, I'll go into a little bit more about air pollution and partnerships and projects that we've had on the go. And then a lot of you may have heard of a large-scale citizen science project that we've had over the last year or two called Clean Air Together, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. So without further ado, I'll hopefully share my screen. It will work. So hopefully that's working for everybody.
That is, thank you, Leo.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, so yeah, we'll just go through. So what is citizen science? Well, a lot of you there on the call today probably all know what citizen science is, but just one definition that kind of grabs my eye is the following here, which states citizen scientists are volunteer data collectors. They observe and record information about the natural world and contribute to a growing need for environmental data. So there's plenty of good examples of citizen scientists and citizen science projects in Ireland and the UK. The images there kind of make me think of Birdwatch Ireland would be one example, and other examples where recording data, butterflies, and so forth. Citizen science in the EPA here in Ireland. What does it mean to us? Well, it supports our strategic goals of clean air, clean water, and sustainable behaviour. It also supports engagement and awareness of the public in environmental protection. They're very key to us and link in with our strategic goals. But the data has to have a purpose, whether it links into research, policy, or also used by the community that collected for follow-on actions and reasons. But we can't do this alone, as many of you know, and many of you are probably involved in different projects, whether it's with national organizations or international organizations. So basically working in partnership to establish and deliver citizen science projects is very important to us. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to give you a few examples of citizen science projects that the EPA have been delivering over the last few years, and also that we've just finished delivering and be planning for the next year or two to come. So biodiversity, well, one area that we've been heavily involved in is with the National Biodiversity Data Centre here in Ireland. What I should have mentioned earlier on in my introduction is internally in the EPA, we have a citizen science cross-office team, and we have on that team, besides myself, we also have experts right across the agency here in the EPA in Ireland. You know, experts from water, climate change, radiation protection, and so forth. So some of our colleagues are heavily involved in this partnership, the Citizen Science Project with National Biodiversity Data Centre, and two projects in particular. One is the Dragonfly, Damselfly Ireland project, 2019 to 2024. So roughly about 10 to 20 years ago, there was a survey done of dragonflies in Ireland. So this is a follow-on 10, 20 years later, with the key goals of exploring how dragonflies can be used as potential bioindicators for climate change and also for water quality. So engaging with the public, you know, it's raising awareness and educating them about climate change and water quality. And one of the goals for this is to have an updated atlas of the recordings from surveys made by Citizen Science of dragonflies in Ireland. So that's one project with the NBDC. The other one is Explore Your Shore, which is on the go. So, of course, being an island, we have a rich habitat of marine species, but the recordings of a marine species probably could be a little bit better, and especially the distribution of marine species. So Explore Your Shore is another citizen science project that's on the go there, and this is helping to contribute to recordings and improve knowledge of marine species that are about the Irish coastline. So I'm not directly involved in these projects myself, but if you want more information, please go to the NBDC's website and you'll find out a lot more. One project I am heavily involved in over the last 2-3 years is radon gas, a radon citizen science project. This is a great citizen science project that we're so proud of over the last few years. So we're working in partnership with a few partners, but particularly Wexford Library Service. So if you know Ireland at all, Wexford's down the bottom right corner of the country, and we're working closely with the library services down there. So being a member of any of the Wexford libraries and using your library card, you can go in and just like borrowing a book from your library, you can borrow a radon digital monitor so that you can bring home and to check and measure the levels of radon in your household. So the reason why we're doing this, well, again, raising awareness of subject matter of radon, getting people, more importantly as well, is the challenge we have is one, people get the test for radon in their households, and also then remediation is also a challenge. So one of the beauties of this project is it allows people free of charge, being a library member, to test for radon in their households. A goal for us is to target, people that tested previously before and know they have a radon issue or may have a radon issue above the reference levels, for them to kind of link in again and get the tests done again, and to think about the issues that they may have, which may result in homeowners thinking or having to do remediation measures to reduce the radon levels in their household. One of the things when we engage with citizen science and people to use this service in Wexford libraries is cost. The cost of, let's say, if they were due to tests elsewhere, or even more so, remediation measures to reduce radon levels in their house. So this is going to link in to a new EU-funded citizen science project called Radon, which is just about to really kick off this month in June, and where we hope to develop a toolkit in partnership with citizen scientists to remediate high levels in their households. So yeah, watch this space. So you can get more information if you Google Radon about the project. Yeah, we're doing a lot of work here for a year ahead and into next year as well. So as I said, going a little bit more into air and air quality citizen science projects. So we launched our citizen science programs in 2017/2018. And one of the key elements of our citizen science project launch was the GLOBE program. So what does GLOBE stand for? Well, as you see there, it stands for the Global Learning and Observations to the Benefit to the Environment program. And behind it all, behind the scenes, actually NASA. The GLOBE program is actually in 126 countries globally, and they've done all the citizen science as part of the GLOBE program, have done 223 million environmental measurements. So when we launched the project in 2017/2018, we did it in partnership with the Environmental Education Unit of Untashka. So they're the country coordinator for the GLOBE program, and they train the teachers to collect environmental information, working closely with the students. And some of the pilot studies, I gave an example there, that they've done in the last academic year is weather measurements, a green protocol, it's called Green Down, microplastic measurements in water. Just to mention who is Untashka. Well, Untashka are National Trust here in Ireland. They're the National Trust here in Ireland, and they a charitable organisation, and they deliver educational programs around environmental awareness, environmental education, and environmental protection. And one of the projects that they're heavily involved in for many years now is the Green Schools program. And they have a wide network of schools signed up under a Green School program, doing research programs under, let's say, the travel program, where they encourage the school community to travel to school by bike or walk. Also raising awareness of air pollution, and the other programs, environmental programs that they deliver to the schools include litter and waste. And you'll get a lot of that more information if you Google Untashka, and you get more information there. So back to the GLOBE program. Well, the data collected supports projects in 4 areas: atmosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, and in soil pedosphere. And just like a citizen science, one of the key important things about citizen science that the data needs to be open data. So all data is open and available for everybody to see and to be downloaded by researchers. Just going a little bit more into the GLOBE program. When we launched the SO in 2017/2018, quickly the way things developed is we start to focus a little bit more on air quality measurements, or air quality campaign, or more so NO2 measurements with the school communities. So there's a nice graph there that shows, the success over the last few years of this campaign and this measurement campaign. So the first NO2 measurement campaign was launched there in 2019. You can see we had roughly around 30 schools involved in the program. And year after year, it just increases more and more. So the latest campaign, spring campaign this year, we had over 150 schools participating in the campaign. And you can see there on our website from the results, the mapping out of all the schools, a great spread of schools nationwide. And again, this goes back to, the partnership with the Environmental Education Unit of Antashka. They have that network of schools. So it's a win-win for everybody to have that network of schools involved. As I said, so the last campaign was the 7th campaign that we done. We have 2 NO2 measurement campaigns every year, one in spring, roughly around February, March, and the other campaign is in autumn, around October and November each year. So, and then tied in with the academic year, we have an end of year event where the last few years, obviously because of COVID, we had it online where participating schools come on, present their findings, their research, and a lot of them about what they're going to do next within the school community, within the wider community, and also participating on follow-on programs. Because a lot of the schools that we had at the start, they've continued on being part of it through the campaigns, and no doubt a lot of them will be involved in the autumn campaign coming up soon. For any of you that don't know the GLOBE program, I just thought it'd be useful to just put that slide in there. You can go to globe.gov and get more information, and on it you see all the participating countries. I just took a screenshot there of the Irish page, and it shows you all the different kind of air quality campaigns over the last 3 years. So you can go there and get more information. So the next few slides, I'm going to take it through about Clean Air Together, our program that we've been doing over the last year or two. So Sarah, if you're still there, I'm going to pop out everybody of this slide, and I'm going to share with you a very short video if things work okay, and then come back into the PowerPoint. So hopefully this works, folks. Okay.
Clean Air Together. Would you like to measure the air quality in your area? Clean Air Together is a project that is looking for people in Dublin to measure the air quality in their area. Would you like to be part of it? If you're in Dublin, you can register your interest to participate in Clean Air Together through the website cleanairtogether.ie. We're particularly interested in measuring locations that have a lot of traffic. Once registered and selected, we'll take you through the simple steps to measure the traffic pollutant, nitrogen dioxide, at your chosen location. Following a 4-week measurement period and the analysis of your measurement tube by an approved laboratory, we'll send you your results. When all results are available, we'll create a map of everyone's results. This will give us a greater understanding of Dublin's air quality and help us work together to improve it. If not selected for...
Okay, I didn't hear anybody jumping in. There was any problems, so hopefully that worked for everybody. So I'll just come back into the PowerPoint. So yeah, Clean Air Together. So what was it all about? So yeah, that worked really well. So that gives you a bit of an insight of what Clean Air Together was about. And just okay. So sorry, folks. For some reason, my PowerPoint's not going on to the next slide. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing. Okay, just bear with me.
This is where we need our elevator music again, Leo. We're just waiting for the next slide.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so hopefully this works. And I'm going to. Okay. Does that work, Sarah? Can you see it?
I can certainly see a slide. Yes, there you go.
Brilliant.
It's moving.
Great,
Brilliant.
great. Thanks, folks. The normal thing, if it doesn't work, switch it off and turn it back on again. So that's good. So yeah, so Clean Air Together, what was it all about? So yeah, you just got a bit of a snippet of the video there that gives you an insight of what Clean Air Together is about. But when as one of the leads, particularly, I was heavily involved in leading out on the communication side. So when I look back on the Clean Air Together project, what does Clean Air Together mean for me, or more so the word clean? So C for me means community. Okay, so you would have saw in the video that we targeted 1,000 participants, but we couldn't believe the success of the project. We actually had 2,500 expressions of interest from the public and also from the business community, which resulted in 1,200 measurement tubes being issued. That resulted in 963 valid results, with a further 14 QC results on top of that. Okay, but center to all this was the participants. We couldn't achieve Clean Air Together without the participants. They made it a success that it was. L for me is learnings, particularly through the eye of the participants. Okay, so a few things I think about the learnings from the project is the level of engagement from the participants was just brilliant. There was a real hunger from participants to help address environmental or air pollution issues. But to have a really good citizen science project, it has to have a real meaningful scientific purpose. So the participants really fed into, the need and the want to help the scientists, and also to feed into policy. That was key, and that's key to any really good citizen science project. As we went through the project, what came out more and more was the link to health. It became more and more obvious for loads of different reasons. People were really focused from different angles about health. People that had breathing issues, asthmatics, and so forth. Community was very core to it as well. Participants and followers of the project were really interested to see what was the level of NO2 on their doorstep, in their local area, in Dublin, and then even linking on further at a national level and a global level. So it allowed us in the EPA, yes, about Clean Air Together and the results from Clean Air Together, but it then helped us to show our monitoring network and people to link into airquality.ie, where they can get further information about air pollution levels in Dublin and in Ireland. And this linked in very nicely to one of our main taglines that we use on social media, Know Your NO2. But also, we have to show understanding and empathy for the participants and followers who have concerns for loads of different reasons about air pollution in Dublin. And we have to be mindful of that. E for me was all about engagement. Whether it was good engagement or whether it was bad engagement, or okay, maybe not so bad, but probably sometimes a bit challenging. But as I said before, like the coverage we got, we were just taken back by it. It was just unbelievable. So when I look back at, the publication of the results, which happened in March this year, we got loads of coverage on national radio. So RT Radio 1 covered the project and the results. Other main Dublin radio stations, 104, News Talk as well, Dublin 98 FM. But also in national media. This is a clip here from the Irish Independent, and loads of other journalists and newspapers covered it extensively. When I go back to the the radio, it's not just about, people that live in Dublin, people, out on the commuter belt traveling in from neighbouring counties. So it was covered on radio stations like Kildare FM, which is south of Dublin, and other radio stations like that. We also engaged in one key element we had with our results is we had a live webinar on the night of the release results, which was a great success. We had loads of people tuning in to the live webinar where we kind of talked about the results, what it meant, and also a huge volume of questions and comments coming in about air pollution in general. And that live webinar is available on their EPA YouTube if you wish to look at it. And that was a great success as well. Social media. So the way the world has changed over the last few years, social media is a big element of Clean Air Together and a big part of what made it a success. So just a few clips there of people that covered the project and the results on their social media platforms. A is for air or for the results. So yeah, just to say to you, it's like the measurement period was a 4-week measurement period in October last year. So we communicated that, this was a snapshot in time. As you probably all know that, the NO2 EU reference level is 40 micrograms per meter cubed. So when we were reporting results, we broke the scale into sections of 10, so 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and so forth. But communicating results, we had to clear that this was like a snapshot in time about the results. But what were the results? What do we get? Well, 66% of our results were in the area 10 to 20, and these were mainly all associated with people living out in Dublin suburbs, away from highly trafficked roads. 20% were in the lower region, 0 to 10. So people lived out in low density areas, the outer suburbs, rural area, seaside towns in Dublin County. They record those results. And no, that picture there is not of my own house, although I probably wish it was. The higher results, well, no surprise. We found that the higher results, 20 to 30 or 30 to 40 region, were in Dublin City or close to national roads or regional roads. And I should say that so none of the results exceeded that reference level of 40 plus. So in summary, high traffic volume is associated with higher NO2 levels. So where you found high volumes of traffic, we generally found higher levels of NO2. So when we were communicating results, we were mindful that, the WHO new guidelines, recommendations came out last year. So we had to kind of, factor that in with our communication plan when we were issuing results and explaining results to participants and followers. So one of the things we use in the comms plan is this tagline, this message that the lower the NO2, the better it is for everyone's health. So that was a key element that we did in our results phase. A is for awareness, but also leads on to hopefully behavior change. So as I say, one of the key goals and key objectives of the project was to raise awareness about air pollution and NO2, which will hopefully, lead into behavior change or consideration behavior change by participants and followers. And this is a EPA, we have a new strategic plan that was just issued in the last month or so. And this links in nicely to one of our key aims as part of our strategic plan, which you can see there is we improved the environment through working with others and proactively influence policy and behavior change. Our communications will have moved beyond awareness raising to actively engaging and empowering people to change behavior. N is for next steps or end. So now that we're more or less finished Clean Air Together in Dublin, we're moving on to Cork. The next phase of the project is going to Cork in the second half of the year. And actually, I was down in Cork yesterday. So we've really started the work full on. We're down there doing a bit of filming and doing photo shoots for the promotion and the recruitment phase in particular, which we hope will be launched in August this year. Through Clean Air Together Dublin, we were doing online surveys with participants and those that weren't selected as well. So just doing a longitudinal study to see, their levels of awareness and education of the subject matter. And evaluation of that will be carried out over the coming months and see how that improved or stayed the same or decrease. So that's something that we'll be doing shortly. And this will all link into other stories. For example, Life Emerald, which has been rolled out by Air Quality Team. And I'll come back to that later on and give you a little bit more about Life Emerald. One other angle that it'll all link into is that here in the EPA Ireland, we are going to be doing our Citizen Science strategic review. So just to see, where our citizen science program goes for the next 3 to 5 years, review the last few years, the successes, the learnings, and also where will EPA Ireland sit in the world of citizen science? Will we lead out in front? Will we support? What would be our role in citizen science in Ireland? So these are all areas and more that we'll be looking at as part of this strategic review. So just to recap about Clean Air Together. So what was the purpose of it? Okay. Well, the EPA, obviously, we have a fixed air pollution monitoring sites in Dublin. A good few sites. I forget off the top of my head how many we have, but yeah, we have a wide range of monitoring sites in Dublin, but we can't monitor everywhere in Dublin. So that's the benefit of citizen science, or one of the benefits of the citizen science project, that it's now created data that in many areas that the EPA are currently unable to monitor. The results, what will happen with results? Back to what I said in the previous slide, it has to have a scientific purpose. And this will link in to the Life Emerald project that I mentioned. It will support EPA air quality modeling in Dublin, including air quality forecasting. So just like, weather forecasting, we're aiming that into the future, we will have air quality forecasting. We hopefully, like on the live webinar, we had really good people from Dublin City Council on the live webinar with results. So hopefully the results from Clean Air Together will help the Dublin local authorities. There's 4 local authorities in Dublin, and this will hopefully help them to support their actions in managing air quality. And also with the participants and the followers, it can be used by them to inform others, educate others, family and friends, people they work with, and also to educating further on and participating in consultations and taking actions to reduce air pollution. So I'm just going to finish. So thank you to everybody for your attention over the last few minutes, but I'm going to finish with, we had 2 animated videos from the project in Dublin. So I'm going to just share with you the final animated video we had from the project over the next minute or 2. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Stop sharing.
We'll keep our fingers crossed it works again this time, Leo.
Okay. Okay. So sorry. I just have to finish off the slide. And okay, nearly there.
While Leo's just doing that, a reminder that if any others of you've got questions, then you can pop those in the chat screen.
In October 2021, 1,000 people in Dublin measured nitrogen dioxide levels in their area as part of a citizen science project called Clean Air Together. Nitrogen dioxide, or NO2, is an air pollutant that mainly comes from traffic. NO2 has negative impacts on everyone's health, and it is worse for children and people with pre-existing conditions like asthma. And some people are more exposed to higher levels of NO2 just because of where they live or work. Many residents of Dublin heard about the Clean Air Together project. They applied to find out what NO2 levels were like near them. Once selected, participants installed a measurement tube outside their property for 4 weeks. Clean Air Together gives us a snapshot of what NO2 pollution was like in Dublin in October 2021. The highest NO2 levels were found in Dublin city centre, near busy roads and the M50. By contrast, areas away from traffic, particularly the outer suburbs, Greater Dublin or parks, registered much lower levels of NO2. Most of the participants were interested to see lower NO2 levels outside their properties. Participants learned that their driving routine was affecting people living along busy roads. So they, like us, now have an opportunity to make some changes. Think twice before taking the car, shop more locally, get back on the bike, and take public transport at every opportunity. These are small steps, but together, our actions have a big impact. The good news is that sustainable mobility is becoming easier. More and safer cycleways and footpaths, the development of cleaner public transport, and so much more is being planned by the authorities to reduce air pollutants. By supporting and adopting these changes, the goal is to reduce NO2 pollution over time in all areas of Dublin. The lower the level of NO2, the better it is for everyone's health. To see what the NO2 levels were across Dublin, as measured as part of Clean Air Together, visit cleanairtogether.ie. Thank you to everyone who participated in Clean Air Together. It couldn't have been done without you.
Excellent. Okay. There we go.
Brilliant.
Oh.
Thank you, Leo.
I better go back. It's gone into another video. There we go. Okay.
Do you have other slides or are you ready for questions?
No, so that's it. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. So I actually might start at the bottom of our questions to go to the one that sort of is related to one of your first projects you talked about. So it's from Catherine, and she says, how many radon meters did you put in libraries in Wexford?
Oh, yeah, very good, very good. So we have, when we launched it a few years ago, we launched it in one library first, one of the smaller libraries, see how it goes, and we put in, I think it was 19 or 20 digital monitors there. And then the following year, it rolled out to a larger library, New Ross, and the same again, 19, 20. So we have around, in total, 38 to 40 radon monitors, digital monitors there that are available. But they're available to library members right across the libraries in Wexford County. So if they go into one of the other ones and there's none there available, they just go on a waiting list, and it gets shipped to the other library, and they get it fairly quickly, So yeah, it's been a great success. Just goes from strength to strength. There's other elements about the project as well. I didn't say, because I was mindful of time, that like each year when we kind of launched or relaunched, it was linked in with our science festival in November, which was great. And also in November we have National Radon Day as well. So there's a lot of hooks there that like it's just nice, and we actually working closely with our radon team and experts, we have recently updated our radon risk maps. Only there, was it this month or last month? So yeah, the interest is starting to increase again, and we have a public meeting in 2 weeks' time where it's going to link into the Citizen Science project, because we're looking to recruit 15 citizen science participants in this citizen science element. So yeah, so sorry, but I'll give you a few more info than the question.
No, that's brilliant, and it's a really nice example of the citizen science data actually leading to kind of changes in policy and changes in regulation and things, which is really nice example to hear. Thank you.
And one other thing,
Catherine,
Sarah, that like a bottom-up approach really works. That's a great example of citizen science, folks. You know, like it's a really kind of a community project, you know, and that linkage with the local library, you know, they see it as a bottom-up approach, which is a big part of the success.
Catherine, did you want to come on and say anything else in relation to your question? You're welcome to unmute and turn your video on if you want to, or just unmute. Hi.
Hello. Oops. Oh, hang on,
we can hear you.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure I'm looking respectably now. No, I was just interested in that because I know they put indoor air quality monitors, spec indoor air quality monitors in libraries in the US. I don't know whether they still do that, but I actually got one and that was really good because basically it was just a number, but you could tell from it, you know, in your house what the particulate level was like, and you could basically tell whether you had bad or good levels. I mean, it's pretty simple, but
no, catching you right. It's a simple thing, but it has a big impact. So if any of you know your radon testing, you know, the certified, let's call it a certified test, takes 3 months. You make a payment of, I don't know, 50 to 80 euro, whatever, and you get 2 detectors. You put them in your house in 2 main rooms, and then you get a text or whatever. You get notice to send them back at the end of 3 months, and then you get a test report, right? Whereas this with the radon digital monitors is very much in the person's face. It's there on the counter all the time, and they're able to see it straight away. So it obviously, we're finding that is having more of an impact. You mentioned about that project in the States. So we believe like this, I think this is the first type of this in Europe. It's been done elsewhere, particularly in Canada. So if any of you, and we met people actually in a conference in the UK that led out in Canada, and it was very successful. So look, we're finding it a great success. You know, it's getting more people to test, but then also it's getting people that find out that they're above the reference level for radon to really consider about taking action, and a lot are taking action. You know. Okay. Great.
Thank you so much. Brilliant. Thank you. So we have another question from Akin, which is, besides measuring NO2, I guess this is in your clean air project that you talked about last. Are you looking at other parameters like PM 2.5?
No, in the clean air, it's just NO2. It's just NO2. Yeah. But you know, the EPA measures many air pollutants, and for more information, we have it all there. And if you want to check out the Irish website, it's airquality.ie, and that'll give you a full list of where all the monitoring stations are and what they all test. You know, some of them test different things, or a whole suite of air pollutants. And yeah, it'd be good that you check that out. There's been a lot of investment over the last few years by the EPA Ireland and also the Irish government to more and more monitoring stations. And when we do, this is the other element of the Clean Air Together project, that we also, you know, raising awareness. We're also, you know, redirecting participants or followers onto airquality.ie where they can get more information.
Thank you. Lucianne, I don't know if you would like to unmute and ask your question, or whether you'd like me to
Sure. Hi. Thanks for your talk, Leah. I really enjoyed it. I was just wondering that when you got the data back from all the 1,200 participants and so on in Dublin, whether you could tell from the map that you were producing from that, whether the different road layouts, like roundabouts, traffic lights, pedestrian crossings or whatever, whether that was having an impact on the and the levels of nitrogen dioxide in those areas. Sorry, I just ran to the doorbell. So
no, it's grand. It's grand. You know, it's like,
yeah. I was wondering if you had that kind of data that you could get from the data set, or whether it was more just about the volume of traffic that was going past the roads, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, EPA has other research over the last few years where you can see, you know, that NO2 measurements near heavily trafficked roads. Also, you can see that, as I mentioned, you go onto airquality.ie and you see the monitoring sites. also, two other elements I'll say to you is that if you go up later on today, if you go on to cleanairtogether.ie, we have a map of the results there, and you can zoom in, you know, quite close, and you can see the heavy traffic roads, you know. So like in London, you know, it's in the M50, so, or sorry, M25, is there, or something like that, loops around the city. Well, in Ireland, you know, there's a big motorway that loops around Dublin, called the M50, and you can see like some higher levels are near the M50, but also other main roads out of the city into the city is where the higher levels in. And a few of us on the team, you probably guessed with my accent, I'm from Dublin, so it was interesting. I kind of know the roads quite well, especially out in the north side. So yeah, there was a few areas where participants had higher levels of NO2, and that was near what we would know, you know, the busier roads, the roads with that had a higher traffic. And there was one other key element I was going to say to you would be of interest, but it's gone out of my head now. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Sorry. Yeah, but if you go to Clean Air Together, and you'll see there's a map there, and you can link in.
Thank you. Sounds like we've got some links to follow up on. Thanks, Leo.
Okay.
So I had a question as well, which was about the GLOBE programme and the Antaisca. Is that it? Is it
yeah, no, it's okay. It's Irish. On like near, you could nearly say on like on Tashka.
On Tashka. Thank you.
That's it.
I should have written it down phonetically.
No, it's okay.
So, and you talked about the fact that their network really helped you reach into the schools.
Yeah.
So what sort of actual support did they give schools as part of that campaign? Do you know? Yeah,
so look, they on Tashka and the team there, great partnership, great people to work with, and then it led on to upscaling to a larger citizen science project, Clean Air Together. But let's go back to GLOBE. So yeah, you know, we provide, you know, the financial support and also the expertise, you know, with people in air quality. Then, like I mentioned earlier on, like in the EPA, we got a cross-office citizen science team. So the mapping, I would have showed you the slide there, the mapping with people in analytics here in the EPA, and they done all that mapping. So what I'm getting at, we provide the scientific and technical support.
Yeah. On
Tashka, then for the schools, everything's provided for the schools, for the teachers. So all the material, the resources and all that, that's provided for them through on Tashka. The training as well. So for this and other programs, I mentioned that they're very, you know, key to providing the training to the teachers and the students. And then whether online, particularly over the last few years, or visiting, going out and doing visits, workshops as well. At the very, very start, I remember I was involved in the workshop myself. So yeah, all those kind of support. So it's trying to, you know, provide everything for the teacher, for the students, to make it easy for them, and they really sign up for it. Like one example I give is through the GLOBE program, when it comes to the end, you know, with the students, and the students, you know, they could be primary school or secondary school. A lot of them that are in secondary school are either first or second year. So it's their first time doing, let's say, a scientific report, right? So that's a great thing as well, trying to get them tuned in that way. So through the GLOBE and on Tashka, they provide like a poster template, and they just populate that. Okay, so and then there's resources online as well. So it was a good thing when you look at my presentation again, go to the website that I made reference to, and everything will be there for yourself, Sarah, and the rest of you that you want to check up on. And if anybody needs any more, you can get my email off Sarah and the rest of the crew. I'll put you in the right direction. Okay.
Brilliant, thank you.
But I should say that the network's very important. So because it's like they, you know, through the green schools, it's a no-brainer, you know, like the schools are involved they've loads of other environmental programs on the go. So it's a win-win, as I said.
Yeah. Did anyone have any other questions? Otherwise, I've got perhaps one last one. I really love the idea of having your end of year findings event for schools as part of the Globe programme. That sounds really nice way of bringing people together.
Yes.
And I wondered how many of those 150 schools who were taking part in the project, how many of those came along to the end of year celebration, do you know?
Oh, no, off the top of my head, we had, so in May, the latest one, I think there was about 50 plus or minus 10 people that came in on the call.
Okay.
So, and it's all there. You can check it out. There's a recording, just like us recording here today. It's online, the recordings from the last few years. And we obviously guest speakers. So, you know, this is very close to the heart of our Director General, Laura Burke. And she's very much, you know, proud and behind the Globe program and the Citizen Science program. So she's been a guest speaker the last few years. We've had speakers from NASA. The person that leads out on the Globe program from the States is actually an Irishman from Kerry. So that's another Irish link, typical Ireland with the links with America. And yeah, we've had them involved in other things. So we have like an EPA, we have a corporate day